Hi, so I just finished reading the article about restorative justice and its history and philosophy. I thought the article was interesting because a lot of what it talked about I've seen in schools. And I'm also glad it brought up the challenges that are that restorative justice practices face in the school system. So restorative justice is the idea that when someone commits a behavior or a crime, instead of using black and white punishments like I don't know, going to prison or getting expelled or paying fines or getting detention. The perpetrator is then what taught to reflect on their actions. Taught interact with the victim. And in a sense, mend the relationship between the two parties and get the support they both need so they can both acclimate back into the community or the school. Restorative justice is completely different from zero tolerance policy, because with zero tolerance policy, depending on the behavior, there will already be a standard punishment. So like, let's say there was a fight, then there would be a suspension. I did like how it talked about the challenges, the big one being the sustainability and then the implementation of it. Even though some teachers were, I think, really, in my experiences, some teachers I knew were really good about using restorative justice. Most of them were not. I think a lot of time people rolled their eyes when it came to restorative justice. I know in the school that I worked at, we had someone that was supposed to be like the dean of behaviors, and they were supposed to encourage restorative justice. But the school was not very good at supporting it, and I felt like a lot of time they made the person that was in charge of restorative justice do so many things that the restorative justice part of their job wasn't really prioritized. In addition to that, as I mentioned, a lot of teachers didn't take it seriously at all. So all they would do is just drop the kid off, or put the kid on the person that was in charge of restorative justice, and nothing would happen. In another school that I had worked in briefly, restorative justice was just flat out ignored. Detention was still a big deal, or the student would just get sent to the principal's office, and that would be it. So I think, at least personally, in the schools that I've worked at, it's more seen as a nuisance and than anything else, restorative justice, I mean. But I personally think it's a really good thing. I think it is incredibly important that the person that commits the maladaptive behavior towards someone else, they should understand they should understand the harm that they caused, the effects on the person, and they should, learn to not to do that again. But yeah, one other thing that I really liked about the article is how it talked about with restorative justice. It includes both the perpetrator in the community. It's like, yes, it is something wrong, but it can be mended, and the relationship between them, the teachers, the students, can be fixed too. I mean, I think the biggest thing I got out of the article is that once through zero tolerance, the relationship between the person who caused the issue with everyone else is diminished, right? That relationship, it becomes fractured. But at least with restorative justice, there's a chance that all the parties involved, the stakeholders, can still repair the relationship and keep working. Because as the article mentioned, if everybody's happy, it's easier to teach. And I firmly believe that. When I was a teacher, my biggest priority was making sure everyone was comfortable, and it definitely made the teaching a lot easier. Overall, I think it was a really interesting article. It talked about the history, such as how indigenous people with their traditions like peace circles have really influenced this the restorative justice policy. And again, I'm glad I talked about the challenges, because even though I think restorative justice is really cool, I'm a little jaded with it, because most of my experiences with it have not been done correctly, or they're talked a lot about the start of the school year, and then by the end of the school year, people are like, restorative what? So yeah, it's definitely an interesting topic, and I definitely want to see it flourish in the U.S. because I think it is extremely important. Because once a relationship is broken, it's hard to bring that back. And at least with the restorative justice, there's a movement to fixing relationships in schools that are damaged because of behaviors. So yeah, overall, it was a great article. I enjoyed it.